Cappy has just released Arc 7 Chapter 79, and this video will be a summary of the chapter. I highly recommend you check out my Arc 7 Chapter 78 video. Anyways, let's begin. Silence enveloped the hall after the words Priscilla spoke. Everyone heard the word Priscilla said, but the meaning was unclear. Yona seemed to be Priscilla's mother, which Emilia mutters. Otto looks back and forth from Priscilla to Yona. Yona, who is frozen, and Priscilla, who looks unconcerned. They have a different eye and hair color, and Yona has fox tails and ears, which Priscilla doesn't. But Otto knows that when it comes to demi-humans, some characteristics are stronger on one side of the bloodline, especially when it comes to external appearances. Yona and Priscilla look totally different, well, apart from their beauty. Priscilla responds to Emilia's statement, confirming that Yona is her mother. However, Emilia says that Yona and Priscilla look similar, which confuses Otto. Yona did seem to be a bit agitated, but Priscilla states that if Yona wants to conspire against her, you must change the state of your soul, stating that no matter how much Yona changes her appearance, it cannot deceive her scarlet eyes. Yona, hearing this, was upset, despite the others being confused by Priscilla's words. Abel then mutters the word idiotic, which catches Otto off guard. Abel then calls out to Priscilla, asking if Yona is in fact Sandra Benedict, and Priscilla states it's obvious he wouldn't know. Emilia then tried to talk, but Priscilla told her to be quiet. Garfiel then jumps in and says he doesn't care about the reunion, but Subaru takes priority, and he eyes down Lewis. Of course, Yona and Medium were defending Lewis, and Otto believes that Lewis should be chained up somewhere. However, Aldebaran interrupts them, stating that Subaru wouldn't want him to harm Lewis. Al then apologizes for not being able to bring Subaru back from Chaos Flame. Al then reiterates that Subaru doesn't want harm done to Lewis, which confuses Garfiel. Al explains that he felt the same way, but was stopped by Subaru, and he doesn't know what Subaru is thinking. As he says this, he stares at Lewis, and Lewis lets out a groan. Otto analyzes the situation and believes that Subaru made this decision out of being naive. Essentially, both Subaru and Emilia were too good for their own kind, and as a result, they get taken advantage of. Otto still believes that he has to make a decision without being naive, but Al states that it will be very hard with all of the people around him. Otto realized that everyone accepted Lewis for who she was, and then asks if Lewis will be let go, and Al agrees. Medium also says that Lewis protected Subaru, so it's fine. Petra wonders if they can do a pledge to ensure that Lewis won't go rogue in the future, but Otto dismisses the suggestion. This was the same curse that bound Roswell's soul to Subaru after the events of Arc 4 in the Sanctuary. But Otto believes it isn't a good method, as binding people to contracts metaphorically turns and burns their own soul. And furthermore, he wouldn't want Petra to make a contract with Lewis. Not only that, Otto states that they don't know what power Lewis has, so maybe she could potentially even bypass it. After all, Sin Archbishops have unique powers, so there's no need to rely on a contract when there could be loopholes. Either way, the decision was then left to Emilia on what they should do. Medium then pleaded that Lewis helped him at Chaos Flame. Al then nodded in agreement, and Tarita spoke up, stating that Lewis did help at Chaos Flame, and she also stated that Lewis was very fond of Subaru. Emilia thinks and states that Garfiel used to be an enemy, but now he is a friend, and this makes Garfiel upset. But Emilia continues, saying she will believe in Lewis and the words of the people who stood up for her. She then moves towards Lewis and sticks out her hand. Lewis then responds by taking Emilia's hand. Otto briefly wondered if Lewis would use her authority, but nothing happened. With that, Lewis makes a noise and Emilia responds saying that she is also worried for Subaru too. So by the way, this implies that Emilia can somehow understand Lewis. Listening to this anyway, Otto is happy as Emilia came to the same conclusion as him. In other words, to hold off on the Lewis situation until they resolve their issue. But Emilia did it in a nicer way. With this situation settled, Garfiel states he'll keep an eye on Lewis. Dicker Ottoman interrupts everyone, saying he needs to confirm some things with Priscilla, Abel and Yorna. Abel tells him to speak. Dicker Ottoman asks Abel about the new rumours that have spread over the past few days, that the Emperor's illegitimate son is here. Dicker explains that the rumour came from the east, and Abel confirms that it originated from Chaos Flame. Petra and Otto started to piece together the information, and Petra asks if this illegitimate child was in fact Subaru, and Abel confirmed it. Priscilla then burst out in laughter, stating that Abel has truly changed to call a fool like that the Crown Prince. Emilia is confused, stating how can Subaru be the child of the Emperor? After all, he came from beyond the Great Waterfall. However, Emilia is told that it's a joke, that Subaru isn't in fact the Emperor's son. It's a lie. Otto explains that they're using Subaru as a vehicle for their rebellion. It is explained that since Subaru is the Crown Prince, no matter where he is sent, he wouldn't be harmed, but instead used and secured. So Subaru was thrust into this position. Priscilla then states, after hearing the situation, can't you help but laugh? And with that, the chapter ends. So we had another transition chapter. So I have a few things I want to talk about this chapter. So it does seem like Yorna is Priscilla's mother and she went by the name of Sandra Benedict. So it doesn't look like this is some adoption thing. But Priscilla stated that the soul is the same, but the appearance has been changed. So that's really interesting to note. Garfiel in this chapter called Emilia instead of Emily. So I'm not sure where that's going to go. And also, no one's talking about the great disaster that erupted from Subaru. So I have no clue why no one's speaking about that. Because that feels like a big thing, but no one's talking about it. But it looks like Lewis' redemption is on the cards. Just like I told you.